All right, y'all, welcome back. Hope all is well. Now we're about to get into this issue about the Russia and Ukraine war. This is a very, very scary time right now. I know I don't care what your status is in life. If this stuff pop off, hey, it's gonna be bad for everybody. And we don't need to even take it there. We need no wars, we need peace. So let's and get into this video.
Well, though, meanwhile, the Kremlin is lashing out at the U.S. and our allies after President Biden gave Ukraine the go-ahead to fire the long-range missile that we've provided deep into Russia. The missiles are targeting Russian military sites that are used by Russia to savagely attack our ally, Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin with this warning about the use of those missiles.
We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against military facilities of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our facilities. I recommend that the ruling elites of those countries that are hatching plans to use their military contingent against Russia seriously think about this.
Rebecca Koffler, strategic military intelligence analyst, former Defense Intelligence Agency official, joins us now. Rebecca, always good to see you. You know, many say President Biden should have given the green light to use these long-range missiles long before to push Putin back and help Ukraine. What do you think will happen now that Ukraine is using them and Putin retaliated, in a sense, by using this new hypersonic missile?
I don't think that Biden should have gave these weapons to him a long time ago, and he shouldn't give them to him now, because it's only going to escalate the situation.
So we war gamed this scenario, exactly this scenario, back in the intelligence community. And we are right now on the escalation ladder, inching towards a nuclear war. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but the way that it happens, Eric, the Russians and the United States are de facto right now in a war. Why is that? It is because those attackers don't fire by themselves, even though a Ukrainian soldier technically can push the button, but the targeting of the weapon systems, ensuring that there's a proper flight trajectory of the missile, that it destroys the right target, the actual battle damage achieved that we wanted to achieve, it all requires U.S. personnel and U.S. satellites. This is why the Russians have stated that the United States and European targets are now in crosshairs. And every war game that we conducted back in the intelligence community.
See, and that ain't right. I mean, in other words, we should be doing that as the United States. And in other words, we are at war with Russia. We using weapons that you need U.S. troops and satellites to guide these missiles. So Putin is like, forget this, use these weapons again, then it's on. And the messed up part about that is this could escalate real fast and get nasty real quick, like World War III. And, the United States can't be trying to fight Putin behind the back of Ukraine. It's like either we going toe to toe or we ain't. You can't be using them type of missiles. So this is a real scary time right now, and we better hope Sleepy Joe stay asleep and don't wake up after Thanksgiving and continue to use these missiles, because it's gonna go down. It's gonna go down. And like I said, I don't care about your life, how much money you got, or what. This gonna affect all of us, and we all gonna be doomed. We're gonna have to go to a whole different country.
Ended up in a nuclear war. There was an escalation ladder, and the Russians have mapped that out in the course of 20 years, and we're on it right now.
Well, some supporters say, Ukraine has the right to defend itself, that it's just targeting Russian military sites that are attacking Ukraine, and this is perfectly legal and appropriate under international law.
absolutely, from the standpoint of the laws of conflict, Ukraine is entitled to its defense, and this is what the United States has been doing. But there's a rational approach, and then there's an irrational, a senseless one. And President Biden himself, just 2 years, he told his DNC donors at the fundraising event in New York, he explained that the reason why he was not providing those strategic missile systems at the time in quantities and needed for Ukraine to actually make a difference on the battlefield is to prevent World War III by.
Now, you know what it's going to cause, World War III. So why do it now? You know, you want to be all sloppy when it's time for you to get out of office, and then you say you want. Biden said he want Trump transition into the White House to be smooth. This ain't making it smooth. This is making it rough as hell for everybody. I mean, you gonna make the transition smooth. All the stuff that you had planned, knowing that you about to be up out of there, you just need to set it down and let Trump take over and clean up all this mess that was created. And another thing is when we went to war with Iraq and when we was in Afghanistan, what do you think the United States would have done if Putin gave Afghanistanis and Iraqis high technology weapons that the Russians needed to? They're gonna have to help operate, to get it to its target. What you think the United States would have did? All hell would have broke loose, and it would have been World War III. Because it ain't no way around it. You can't be a nuclear armed country helping a small guy fight another nuclear armed country. You just can't do that. It's very, very dangerous. And we gotta sit back and see what's gonna happen. After it's the holidays right now, it's Thanksgiving coming up. We gotta see what's gonna go down, what Sleepy Joe gonna do, because they still got time in that office.
Biden also said that the threat of nuclear Armageddon is real. And
Yes,
so
it is.
what he has done is a 180. So it's unclear right now why he's doing it, but whether he's trying to walk us into this war, yes,
Yeah, because
absolutely.
Trump
There's a
won.
difference between the right and between the actual reality. And the reality that we are inching very steadily to the unthinkable that was gamed out by the U.S. intelligence community, and the U.S. intelligence community as recently as September advised President Biden against providing the ATACMS because Putin would likely retaliate, including with lethal means, against the United States and against Europe, saying nothing about Ukraine. Ukraine is being destroyed right now.
Well, at the same time.
And unfortunately, we don't care about Ukraine. That's another thing. Americans do not care about Ukraine and all them people over there dying, because if they did, they would have put together a peace plan immediately to stop this stuff. So they bold enough, America and NATO, which is one, bold enough to use this country, get all these innocent people killed to fight through the small guy to poke the bear over there in Russia.
And they've been holding back Russia. He's taken about 18% of the territory. Finally, in terms of Russia, Putin has had to rely on Kim Jong-un and get 10,000 North Korean soldiers. Now there are reports he's relying on the Houthis. Some say the Russian army has been decimated. They've had hundreds of thousands of losses that without a loss of an American life, the Allies have basically whittled down and practically destroyed the Russian army.
I don't believe that, because just like Ukraine is using their ally as us, the Americans, for weapons, what's wrong with Putin using his allies for more troops or whatever he need? It's like contradicting yourself. Other people could do it, and it ain't no problem with them, or they ain't losing the war, they ain't facing casualties. But when another country do it, oh, it must be terrible over there. They losing thousands of troops. Come on now. What kind of stuff is that? And another thing is that United States always sell their weapons to the countries that they enemies don't like. And Russia picked that up. Now they starting to do it. So they doing the same thing basically with America. You gonna do this? I'm gonna take a page up out of your book and I'm gonna start selling all this high technology weaponry to Iran, to uh, Afghanistan, to whoever the Americans' enemy is. Because that's what the United States doing. But it's the same thing. Ukraine using their allies. Why not? Why Putin can't use his?
So I respectfully disagree with this characterization, Eric. I'm a former intelligence officer. My intelligence assessment, and it is shared by multiple experts, is that no, the Russian army has not been decimated. In fact, the Russian army, from the standpoint of combat potential, which is calculated by a combination of weapon systems, armed forces, the capacity of military-industrial complex to reproduce, the scale up, and defense economics, Ukraine is massively outgunned and outmanned. The Russian military-industrial complex is right now working on a 24/7 basis, 3 shifts a day, pumping out those missile systems. Why is that? It's because Putin has transitioned the Russian military and economy on a wartime footing 7 years prior to invading Ukraine. And I personally briefed NATO, Obama's White House, National Security Council, STRATCOM, EUCOM, and all of these key pieces of the U.S. national security community about what was coming, right, at the highly classified level. And yet, what the Pentagon has decided to do is use Ukraine effectively as a human shield to protect the Europeans who didn't want to pay for their own security.
And finally, quickly, it seems like.
And Russia is basically, they are fighting Ukraine with one hand behind their backs. I don't think that they'll be putting they all into this war, knowing that the United States and NATO is backing Ukraine, because that's where the real fight will come in. And I feel like, of course, any smart person will save their troops, their main troops, for action with us, the United States and NATO and everything. I mean, just like United States, doing the same thing, using Ukraine, fighting through them, saving their resources and building up to the big thing, the big World War III. Hopefully it don't happen, but I mean, come on, anybody in their right mind should know this. So, Russia just pulled out this new this new hypersonic ballistic missile, just to show the United States, like, hey man, I ain't playing. We got this. Don't think that we don't got it, because we got it.
Like a standoff. How do you think this will end? What do you see happening in the next year?
Well, hopefully, President Trump will come in and settle this. He is the only president that Putin fears, the only U.S. president, for multiple reasons. And one of them is the U.S. Russian intelligence designated.
I don't think he fear him, but, respect him.
Trump as unpredictable, which means that when Trump negotiates, the Russians will not be able to tell whether he's bluffing or not, because the Russians are in excellent position to negotiate, the Ukrainians are not. But we have 60 days still when Biden, has his finger on the nuclear button, and Biden, multiple experts designated him as cognitively impaired. So we're in a very perilous situation.
Well, that's not exactly fair to say that, and others say that he's been able to maneuver this appropriately without a loss of American life. We'll see what happens. Rebecca Koffler, good to see you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Arthel?
Yeah, see, y'all got to understand how serious this is, because it's very serious, and we are real close to World War III. So it's just like, I haven't heard no information if the United States or British have continued using these long-range missiles. I don't think they have, but when I find out, I most definitely would do a video about it. And I feel like, and if they do it, I probably won't have to do a video about it, because the stuff is going to hit the fan and everybody going to get them alerts to their phone like, hey, we in World War III because Russia attacked the United States bases starting in Poland. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, because we're in real scary times. I know everybody out here living their best life and all that, and A lot of people don't think stuff could happen here in America, which other countries do have the same technology we have, and we can be touched. And the way that the United States is, the way we are, if somebody gonna attack us, they got the same technology that we have, they gonna hit us hard. They gonna hit us hard. They gonna hit us hard because the way we are and the way that we fight. It ain't no half step. And if you're gonna go with us, you got to go all the way. And if that's what Putin got to do, and he know that, and his back get pushed against the wall, that's exactly what he gonna do. And we all gonna be in for a rude awakening.